Thank you all for coming to Al-Mahdi, first and foremost. This is our 4th annual Big Iftar, so it's the 4th time we've had a go at this. The Big Iftar is an outreach initiative, for those of you who are not sure, with the purpose of encouraging friends and neighbors to come together during Ramadan, which is one of the most blessed and holy months in the Islamic calendar. Ramadan is a month of sharing, giving charity, and it is also an opportunity to renew old friendships and bring people together and maybe form and forge new ones. Barriers are formed, in my opinion, when people do not get to know each other and they do not interact with each other. And there's no better way to break down those barriers and celebrate our diversity than over a hot plate of delicious food. And before you get too worried, hot as in the temperature, not as in the spice content. So today we have speakers and guests from a plethora of different faith backgrounds who will be coming and sharing their experiences and their knowledge to us. The theme of today is faith and the environment, because I think it's something which is overlooked often by people of faith and the practitioners of faith. And I think it's a good sentiment that we're going to have this as our main central theme for this year, as it's our duty to do what we can as people of faith and people of maybe no faith, to preserve Mother Earth for the coming generations. So without further ado, I'd like to invite, although it says again Qari Muhammad Ali, I've been told that he preferred the term brother Muhammad Ali. So I'd like to invite Muhammad Ali to the podium to start us off with a few verses of Quran recitation. So Muhammad Ali, if you'd like to come up and recite the Quran for us. Thank you.
Hi, welcome everybody. So hopefully I'll be reciting first in Arabic and then translating in English from chapter 76, verse 8 onwards. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا وجزاهم بما صبروا جنة وحريرا ودانية عليهم ظلالها وذللت قطوفها تذليلا
ويطاف عليهم بآنية من فضة وأكواب كانت قواريرا من فضة قدروها تقديرا ويطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون إذا رأيتهم حسبتهم لؤلؤا منثورا فإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا عاليهم ثياب سندس خضر واستبرق وحلوا أساور من فضة وسقاهم ربهم شرابا طهورا إن هذا كان لكم جزاء وكان سعيكم مشكورا صدق الله العلي العظيم.
So I'll just go ahead with the translation now, hopefully. In the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. And they give food in spite of love for it to the needy, the orphan, and the captive, saying, we feed you only for the countenance of God. We wish not from you reward nor gratitude. Indeed, we fear from our Lord a day most distressful. So God will protect them from the evil of that day and give them radiance and happiness, and will reward them for what they patiently endured with a garden in paradise and silk garments. They will be reclining therein on adorned couches. They will not see therein any burning sun nor freezing cold. And near above them are its shades, and its fruit to be picked will be lowered in compliance. And there will be circulating among them vessels of silver and cups having been created clear as glass. Clear glasses made from silver, of which they have determined the measure. And they will be given to drink a cup whose mixture is of ginger, from a fountain within paradise named Salsabil. There will circulate among them young boys made eternal. When you see them, you would think them as beautiful as scattered pearls. And when you look there in paradise, you will see pleasure and great dominion. Upon the inhabitants will be green garments of fine silk and brocade, and they will be adorned with bracelets of silver, and their Lord will give them a purifying drink. And it will be said, indeed, this is for you a reward, and your effort has been appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you for the recitation, Brother Muhammad. I think I speak for all of us when I say, you have a beautiful voice, and if we could all give a round of applause for Muhammad for that recitation. So I want to call next for our first talk of the evening to the podium, who's speaking on the topic of faith and the environment in Buddhism. I'd like to call Jan Lovelock, please. Jan?
Assalamu alaikum. Although I'm supposed to be talking from a Buddhist point of view, in fact I shall be speaking from a Buddhist point of view. It's best to begin with what we have in common. And what would particularly interest the Buddhist is the inwardness of why we follow our religious duties. So from the point of view of the fast at the moment, we are told, I don't want to take the Sheikh's words out of his mouth, we are told that there are results which are physical, an improvement in health, that are psychological, in that we learn self-discipline. But there are also spiritual rewards. The first two, if we're only going to follow these duties for what we get out of it, for a selfish motive, then the reward is not very great. But when you go to the spiritual, and when you look at what you share with others, and what you can do for others at this particular time, then you are moving out into the human environment. And that attitude of caring eventually carries over, because it has become part of you, is carried over into the physical environment as well. Because when you get away from your selfish preoccupations, then you open your heart to everything that is around you. In Buddhism, we talk about something called the three poisons. And the three poisons are greed, ill will, and ignorance. And from the point of view of the environment, we don't need to know that the harm that is done to the environment is a result of greed. But also, from the point of view of ill will, I'm thinking particularly of the envy that drives us to want more and more than our neighbours. And if you think of ignorance, the cardinal ignorance when we're thinking of the environment is of our interconnectedness. If we only think of ourselves, if we only insist upon ourselves, then we harm everything else as well as ourselves. We train ourselves in the wrong way. But that's to look at things negatively. And there's another set of qualities in Buddhism which we try to develop as part of our meditative exercises. And these four qualities are the qualities of kindness, of compassion, of sympathetic joy, and of making no distinctions. And it's those that I would suggest, as I suggested at the beginning, it's those that will change our behaviour. It's not so much that you are told, do this, because we don't have that kind of setup in Buddhism. What is suggested is that you liberate your heart. That is the name of one of the names for these four qualities, the liberators of the heart. So if we train ourselves in kindness, in answering whenever we see suffering, if we rejoice with those that are happy and make sure that whatever we do does not make them unhappy, and if we cease to make distinctions, that's the dog and therefore I can do what I like to the dog, then if we have that thought, we're thinking wrongly. Whereas if we value all beings, everything that has life, then we will treat the environment better. That's all I wanted to say on the religious front. But I was invited to read a poem. I was going to read you one of my own, and I thought, no, that's not humble. So I'm going to read you part of a poem by William Wordsworth. It's a poem which I was taught first at school, a poem for which I wrote the bulk of the Wikipedia article, as it now stands. And what the poem is, the lines composed a few miles above Tintern Abbey, a place of very great natural beauty. And Wordsworth thinks back to an earlier visit and its effect upon him. And he thinks of nature as, I suppose in theological terms, as an extension of its creator, and therefore as a wise teacher. It was not created for no purpose. It was there to make us better, simply by being in it and respecting it. So says Wordsworth, these beauteous forms through a long absence have not been to me as is a landscape to a blind man's eye, but oft in lonely rooms and amid the din of towns and cities, I have owed to them in hours of weariness sensations sweet, felt in the blood and felt along the heart, and passing even into my purer mind with tranquil restoration. Feelings too of unremembered pleasure, such perhaps as have no slight or trivial influence on that best portion of a good man's life, his little nameless unremembered acts of kindness and of love. Nor less, I trust, to them I may have owed another gift of aspect more sublime, that blessed mood in which the burden of the mystery, in which the heavy and the weary weight of all this unintelligible world is lightened. That serene and blessed mood in which the affections gently lead us on until the breath of this corporeal frame and even the motion of our human blood almost suspended, we are laid asleep in body and become a living soul. Thank you.
Thank you for those wise words, some great points for contemplation for us all. I'd like to call upon next Acharyaji Dr. Yadav from the Aryavedic Samaj, who will be talking to us about faith and environment in Hinduism, and then I believe he will be reciting some bhajans for us as well. So, thank you.
त्वं हि नः पिता वसो त्वं माता शतक्रतो बभूविथ अथा ते सुम्नमीमहे हिरण्यगर्भः समवर्तताग्रे भूतस्य जातः पतिरेक आसीत् स दाधार पृथिवीं द्यामुते मां कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम कस्मै देवाय हविषा विधेम ॐ ॐ ॐ। सबको सादर नमस्ते and happy Ramadan, and this is Big Iftar, so very happy this holy festival. भाइयों बहनों, we all are here to discuss faith and environment. According to Vedas, we have understood that faith is very strong system by which you can benefit others, we can make happy people. But on other hand, if you are rigid in your faith, then sometimes you can harm the feelings of other as well. Need to understand philosophy behind. Religion is a part of faith, but other word used in Vedas and everywhere, that is righteousness. So righteousness is paramount system and feeling. Religion may be a part of, as it is a part of sect based on different philosophy and has been set up on different time. But if you think about righteousness, love each other, do benefit for others. There is a very beautiful word used in Vedas, paropkarah. Parupkarah. Do benefit, do help to others. And individual, if you are individually strong in character and in values, then you can think to make good and you can think to help others. But if you are not strong in values, in character, you are a bad man. You can't think good for others as well. So Satya, truthfulness, makes a man good, makes a man strong, makes a man perfect, and non-violence, ahimsa. Ahimsa is a very strong thing. There is a clear message in Vedas, don't do violence. Lot of people think that violence is just about physically hurting someone, but Vedas preach about complete non-violence, which says don't hurt any of God's creation physically, mentally, or vocally as well. Saying harsh words and thinking bad about someone is also a kind of violence. If we understand and follow this concept of complete nonviolence, then we will be more cordial towards other faiths, and there will be no hatred in our lives. So this is very, very important point. And love, this four-letter word has power to make our life happy and prosperous. Love spreads love, removes hatred, and motivates us to live for each other. We all are one God's creation, so we should love each other. हम सब अल्लाह के पुत्र हैं, ईश्वर के पुत्र हैं. We all are the son of God. And sometimes I think I'm not Hindu, I'm not Muslim, but I am a human being. And if you think you are a human being, then you will love and you will create good environment in your life, in your family life, in your society, and in nations as well. Because individual makes a society, and society makes a state, province, and provinces make the nation, and nations make the world. So if individual is right, then your nation and your country and your world will be right. So prayer, always pray good for others. Everyone prays for himself. Everyone wants to be healthy, happy. But if you pray good for others, that will be more powerful good deed you have created in your life. So prayer is very important ingredient of world peace and good environment. Pray to God, because He is the boss of world who can help us indeed. Some atheists who do not believe in God, we have to think good for them as well. Whatever they do, they believe in God or not, but God, supreme power, is there to watch, to understand, and to give the fruit of karma. So it's no matter that he believes or not, but they believe to do good. So you have to believe to do good for others. Om Dyahu Shantir Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shantir Apah Shantiru Shadayah Shanti Vanaspatayah Shantir Vishve Devah Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi. I would like to end my speech with this prayer to God to provide peace to water, peace to fire, air, sky, and land, which together make the entire universe, and most importantly, peace in our hearts. Love in our hearts, affection in our hearts. So, with these words, I would like to sing a poem, Kavita, written by me. It is in Hindi, but hopefully you will understand my vibration. So, and my feeling. सच बोलो मानवा, प्यार करो मानवा, सच बोलो मानवा, प्रेम करो मानवा, देव मंदिरिया को सफल करो मानवा, देव मंदिरिया को सफल करो मानवा, सच बोलो मानवा, प्रेम करो मानवा। सेवा परोपकार करना मानव जीवन है, सेवा परोपकार करना मानव जीवन है। लोभ नहीं करना कभी, झूठा छोड़ो मानवा, लोभ नहीं करना कभी, झूठा छोड़ो मानवा, सच बोलो मानवा, प्यार करो मानवा। देव मंदिरिया को सफल करो मानवा, देव मंदिरिया को सफल करो मानवा। निंदा चुगली छल कपट ये सब कूड़ा करकट हैं, निंदा चुगली छल कपट ये सब कूड़ा करकट हैं। These all are rubbish thing, and you abuse and you know say bad for others anything. आदर और प्यार से सबका मन जीतो मानवा, respect and love each other. प्रभु जी को याद करना निज धर्म निभाना अपना, प्रभु जी को याद करना निज धर्म निभाना अपना। कर माता पिता की सेवा आशीष पाओ मनवा, respect your parents, family environment, remember God, spiritual environment, and have blessing from your parents and ancestors and your teachers as well. यज्ञ श्रेष्ठ दान पुण्य सत्य आदि मोक्षदायी, यज्ञ श्रेष्ठ दान पुण्य सत्य आदि मोक्षदायी। वेद सब पढ़ी पढ़ी उमेश बढ़ो मानवा, वेद सब पढ़ी पढ़ी उमेश बढ़ो मानवा, सच बोलो मानवा, प्यार करो मानवा। ज्ञान पथ चली चली उमेश बढ़ो मानवा, सच बोलो मानवा, प्यार करो मानवा। All good deed created in life will help you to have salvation, emancipation, and that will guide you for good life ever, ever, ever. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Jai Jagadish Hare। भक्त जनों के संकट आर्य जनों के संकट सब में के दूर करें। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you for that, Doctor. One of the benefits, I think, from these kinds of events and these platforms is that we are exposed to things and flavors often that we might not be used to, or we might not have come across before. So it's quite refreshing and a good, a good place for that, I think. I've definitely benefited from each of the talks we've had so far. So without further ado, I'd like to invite up to speak about faith and the environment in Judaism. I'd like to invite Aviv Glaser up to come and have a few words.
Wow, I'm so thrilled to be here. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. And may I be the first person to say before the sun sets, Shabbat Shalom, because today for Jews, Friday night, this is the start of our Shabbat. So I'll tell you a little bit about Shabbat and how Shabbat relates to the environment first. As a lot of you probably know, that Jews are commanded to refrain from work on the Sabbath, but perhaps you didn't know that that's not just for people. Because God created the world, He also commands us to take care of it for Him. So we also have to let the world have a rest. We're commanded that on Shabbat we should let not only ourselves, our family, if we have servants, if we're rich enough and lucky enough to have servants, we should let them have a rest too, but we should also let our animals rest. So even the animals, even your dog perhaps, maybe they get out of walks or have a shorter walk on the Sabbath. We even should be allowing the earth to have a rest. It's pretty amazing to me that even in the ancient times they were talking about crop rotation, to have in your fields to rotate the crops so that at least one portion of the land could be at rest once every 7 years so that it would recover and so that you wouldn't exhaust the land and its capacity to give life. Now, as I was thinking what I'm going to tell you about, I didn't want to bore you all about Jewish laws, about the environment. I sensed this may put you to sleep if I went too much into detail. I just had a slight inkling about this. And I thought, well, it is Ramadan. How can I link Ramadan to some Jewish concept of the environment? And then I discovered that it's a sunnah to break your fast with dates, to eat the dates. I thought, well, that's really interesting because Jews, we love trees, especially we love fruit trees. It's something that's often used as a metaphor to talk about people, to talk about men. You know, the tree, it stands tall in the field. It has the adversity of the wind blowing, it draws strength from the earth, it nourishes its roots, it looks to God, it gets the sunlight. Trees are a great metaphor for people. In fact, we love trees so much that we have many New Years throughout our Jewish calendar. Did you know we have 4 New Years? None of them involve a countdown and a party, but we still have 4 of them. And one of them is just for trees. It usually falls in the Western calendar around January time, which is in the ancient world, our traditions are based upon the Middle East culture. So in the Middle East, it's written that the sap starts to rise in the trees around that January time. So it's called the New Year for trees, Tu B'Shavat. And we have a special service and we talk about the environment, we talk about nature and all these things that we dearly love about it. This is because we rely on the land to give us life. God created it for us, He created us. He tells us to look after it so that we can sustain ourselves, not just to respect Him and His creations, but so that we may carry on living. So I can read to you a little bit from the Midrash, which is the commentary about the Torah. The Torah is the 5 books of Moses that are written, and the Midrash provides some extra detail, just in case we missed some of the truths in there. It's the rabbis over the years, they've supplemented somewhat with their wisdom for us. It says that God showed man the Garden of Eden, that God created it for you, and He said, so don't spoil it, don't destroy it, because if you do, there may not be anyone else after you who will fix it. I think in our time especially, perhaps a few generations ago, they've said, oh, it's okay, the next generation will do this, but in our time, there's many, many scientists that are saying the time is now to address these environmental issues. So all these years ago, I really feel the Midrash is speaking to us in our generation now, that we must take care of our world. The Midrash also says, now the Midrash likes to make hypothetical stories. This is not a literal story, I must praise this. It says that originally trees were supposed to be entirely edible, that even the bark and the leaves would taste of beautiful fruit. But if man decided to eat the entire tree, he would have the immediate benefit of the tree, but he's destroyed its capability to give him life in the future. So he's traded off this immediate gain for this long-term shortcoming. So this is why, according to the Midrash, we should only eat the fruit of the tree so that we can sustain that tree, so that it will give us life in the future, which I think is a lovely metaphor for our time as well. And we have, it's a nice when we discover things that we have in common across our faiths. And this is one thing I came across quite by accident when I was talking with a colleague. We have the same expression: if you save a life, you save the world. And if you destroy a life, you destroy the world. I thought, well, could we work it backwards? Perhaps if we destroy the world, we're destroying life. How can our human life continue if we don't look after the beautiful environment that we have, that God has blessed us with? So I can finish perhaps, because I've been talking so much about trees, a little poem that was written this year by a lady called Joyce Kilmer for the occasion of Tu B'Shavat, our New Year for Trees celebration. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowering breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for that, and I especially liked your metaphor using trees, and I think it's befitting. And for any of you who are new to Al-Mahdi Institute, we have a huge grounds, and we have loads of space. Please do feel free after the event to go and have a look at the gardens and the trees and the beauty we have on site. If it is the first time you've attended. Next, I'd like to invite to give a talk on faith and the environment in Christianity, Ruth Tetlow. Please.
Good evening, Assalamu alaikum. It's a great pleasure to be here with you all this evening, many old friends and some new ones, and to share in this iftar. During Lent, many Christians attend study groups where we get together each week, often in people's homes, to pray, to read the Bible, and to discuss the meaning of Lent for our lives. In King's Heath, these groups have traditionally been ecumenical. That means involving all the local Christian denominations, Roman Catholic, Anglican, Baptist, Methodist, and Quaker. This year, a group of 5 of us, women of different denominations, and one of the others is here with us tonight, Miriam, decided that we would prepare a study guide on the subject of our common home, caring for God's creation for these Lent groups. It was studied by all the groups in King's Heath during the spring this year. And I wanted to share a few thoughts from that study guide with you this evening, because Lent is a little like Ramadan, in that it is an opportunity for Christians to abstain from something or to make a new commitment to help them in their spiritual life. It's an opportunity to turn aside from ordinary routines and reflect on what is really significant in our faith and in our lives. What could be more significant than the beautiful planet on which we depend, now so seriously threatened by climate change due to the thoughtless actions of humanity? In 2015, church leaders joined with those of other faiths in signing the Lambeth Declaration, which said, "We see the earth as a beautiful gift. We are all called to care for the earth and have a responsibility to live creatively and sustainably in a world of finite resources." And as Pope Francis said in his encyclical Laudato Si in 2013, the impact of climate change affects, first and foremost, those who live in poverty in every part of the globe. So, as we met together during Lent, we recognised our corporate misuse of God's creation, thinking that we can live at the expense of the earth, sea and air of our planet, fishing indiscriminately, polluting the atmosphere, and driving to extinction the creatures that depend on the land and its plant life. We considered the biblical passage in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, where it appears from some translations that humanity is given dominion over the earth. However, recent biblical scholars tell us that stewardship is a more accurate translation of the Hebrew, corresponding beautifully to the Arabic Khalifa. We confessed that we expect, for example, to be able to travel quickly and frequently without counting the cost, to be able to choose food from all over the world regardless of the seasons. We don't intend to be the cause of hurricanes and floods. We don't deliberately wish to force Pacific Islanders to leave their homes because they're underwater. But we have to recognise that because of our overuse of fossil fuels, we are involved in causing these disasters and must change our lifestyles. Many churches are making efforts to tackle environmental issues by, for example, installing solar panels on their roofs, recycling and campaigning to transfer church investments from fossil fuels to renewable resources. Your observation of fasting during Ramadan is an inspiration to us to take our faith more seriously, and a crucial part of that involves caring for our common home. I think of the huge landfill sites where desperately poor people scrape a living by searching through other people's waste, while others in our world have money to spend on luxuries they don't need. It can't be right. In 2015, a multi-faith group of us here in Birmingham set up a new organisation called Footsteps, Faiths for a Low Carbon Future, to tackle some of these issues together. You may have come across it. We have a walk in Winston Green planned for June the 10th. I know it's during Ramadan, so it might be difficult. And some of our members are involved in organising the plastic-free iftar at the Bahu Trust next Tuesday evening. That's just a couple of examples of things that we've been doing. But to finish, on the one hand, we Christians pray for God's forgiveness, and on the other, we commit ourselves to caring seriously for God's creation. Let's do it together this Ramadan.
We'll now have for a hymn recital, Stephanie Dankwa, please.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I pray that the words of these hymn speaks to each and every one of us. Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the roaring thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sing my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sing my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. around was blind, but now I see. Amen.
Thank you for that. For our final talk of the evening, I'd like to invite Sheikh Arif up to the podium, please, who's going to be speaking on faith and the environment in Islam.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be with us all. Shalom, namaste, sasrikal, and everybody else. Good evening. I'm not that versatile in every language. There is no such thing as a faith perspective, in my opinion, on the environment. There's a human, godly, and a spiritual perspective. The wonderful contributions that are made already by those illustrious speakers who have come before me, these are our collective perspectives upon the environment and upon the earth. Being the supreme creation of God, we come with responsibility. As God said that I have a lot of confidence in this one, when angels protested and they said he will create corruption and bloodshed, he, through his excessive nature, will ruin the ecological balance. God said, nonetheless, I have a lot of confidence in this one that I have created. Through time, he will become mature. He will become wiser. The godliness that is deep within him shall take birth, shall enlighten him. He will go beyond color, beyond race. He will go beyond distinction. He will go beyond religion. And similarly, he will go beyond greed. He is in a process of growing. Tolerate the child as he grows. Once he comes of age, he will look beyond his selfish wants. He will look beyond his greed. He will see the earth for what she is. She is his mother. In Hinduism we say, Dharti Mata, the Mother Earth. In English we call her the Mother. In Islam, Judaism, we call the earth our parent. From it is our birth. To it is our return. And from it shall we be brought out again to stand before the most beautiful God and respond to him. Millions of years of evolution have taken place. God worked tirelessly until he brought this beautiful earth together, this wonderful environment, the variety of species, the plants, the ecological balance. It is not right for us, the supreme creatures of God, to destroy it in an instance. How strange is the story of the human being. In the evolutionary track, he has just taken birth in this moment. And before he shuts his eyes, he would have destroyed everything that he has inherited. No, this is not us. And this God and humanity is speaking through us, that we, as quite rightly said before me by Ruth, we are the stewards of God. We are the godly ones. The earth is our mother, and the creatures of earth look towards us to govern them and to nurture them. We are the agency of God. We are the hand of God. We are not those who destroy. We are those who restore. We do not take life, we give life. We restore the beautiful ecological balance. These wars, excessive consumption of resources of this earth, greed, deforestation, the population boom, these are things that need to be addressed by us. And at the core of our humanity, whether we call ourselves as people who belong to the faith, or people who are mere human beings, whether we are agnostics or we are atheists, the same intuition is ripe within us that tells us, enough is enough. Now you have come of age. You must all come together as one people, as creatures of God, as fellows belonging to same humanity, and honor your Mother Earth and the creatures. Imagine, if one of these species is lost, how many years will it take before it is replaced, or will it ever be replaced? Millions of years of evolution have taken place before it produces a bee. Will we allow our excessive nature to do away with these beautiful creatures? The answer is absolutely not. But then again, it is not enough for us to talk in this language and to say what is right and what is wrong. The time now is for us to take action. I am responsible in my own individual capacity, in my domestic capacity, in the capacity of this family that is here, in the capacity of being a human being. I say this, that if we all begin to talk and take action, we can make a difference. Why should we have endless wars? For what? How strange are human beings? They kill each other in order to find peace. But there was peace before you started killing each other. How strange you people are. I'm saying myself, I'm a human as well, not an angel yet. We need to come together and we need to say enough is enough. Enough plundering, enough pillaging, enough destruction. By God, at times I sit under the open sky and I say, oh God, if you were to listen to one plea of mine, which I hope you will never, I will ask you to destroy humankind. For we have been a waste of time. But I know you know more in your wisdom. And I know your parental care will never allow you to destroy us. And I know you await for us to come of age, to come to that pedestal where we begin to mirror your godliness. For the people who come from a faith perspective, this question is easily answered. We need to revert within ourselves and become God-like, the givers of life, the restorers of peace, the carers, the people who give away their greed in love of their God, people who trust God and they say, oh God, I will eat only that I need and I will trust in you for my tomorrow. For I may gather for my tomorrow, yet you may not have destined a tomorrow for me. To rely on God to become more godly. Thank you all very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And finally, can I invite to the podium for recitation of Dua Kumail in English, Abbas Haider Lalji, please.
O loving one, O light of the most holy, O merciful, O hearer of all hearers, O loving one, O light of the most holy, O merciful, O hearer of all hearers, O Allah, I ask you by your mercy which surrounds all things, by your power through which you master all things and towards which all things are humbled, by your might through which you have overpowered all things, by your might through which you have overpowered all things, by your majesty before which nothing can stand, by your eminence which prevails upon all things, by your authority which is above all things, by yourself which remains after all things have finished, by your names which are pillars of all things, by your knowledge which surrounds all things, by the light of your face, by the light of your face which illuminates all things, O light, O most holy, O the first of the first, O the last of the last. O Allah, forgive me my sins that would affect my innocence. O Allah, forgive me my sins that would bring down calamity. O Allah, forgive me my sins that would alter blessings. O Allah, forgive me my sins that would hinder supplication. O Allah, forgive me my sins that would bring down distress. O Allah, forgive me my sins that would suppress hope. O Allah, forgive me every sin I have committed and every mistake I have made. O Allah, I seek nearness to you through your remembrance. I seek your intercession. I ask you through your generosity to bring me closer to your presence and to provide me with gratitude towards you and to inspire me with your remembrance. Oh Allah, I ask you as a submissive, degraded and humble person to be easy with me, to have mercy on me, to make me fulfilled and content with your decree, and humble in every state. Oh Allah, I ask you as one who is passing through extreme poverty, who supplicates his needs to you, and whose hope has been greatly raised by that which is with you. Oh Allah, great is your kingdom, high is your station, your plan is secret, your authority is manifest, your might is victorious and subduing, your power is immense. It is not possible to escape from your kingdom. Oh Allah, I find no other than you to forgive my sins and to conceal my flaws. And I find no other than you capable of changing my immoral actions into sources of beauty. There is no God but you. Glory and praise be to you. I have made my soul suffer. I have been audacious in my ignorance. I have relied on your ever remembrance of me and your grace towards me. Oh Allah, my How many of my immoral acts have you hidden? How many of my grievous sorrows have you reduced? How many of my fallings have you protected? How many of my tribulations have you repelled? How many of my beautiful but undeserving praises have you spread? O loving one, O light of the most holy, O merciful, O hearer of all hearers.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you once again for all the speakers for taking time out and giving us the opportunity to listen to them. I'd like to thank all the guests for remaining silent throughout the program and, you know, attending as well. We hope that the Big Iftar continues. This is our 4th year, and it's been great to see it grow year in, year out, from strength to strength. And it reminds us of the importance of projects like this, where diversity can truly be valued. For many cultures and many traditions, the idea of breaking bread is an epitome of fellowship and generosity towards each other. And we hope to continue this for many years to come. There will be prayers in the conference room next door. You're more than welcome to join in or observe. Food will be served in this hall here. If you do not have any contact with us, i.e. you don't receive information or news about our events, you can sign up at the front, give your email addresses and contact details, etc. Also, we are taking donations as well, so please do go towards the front desk. A round of applause, finally, final round of applause for all of our speakers and for yourselves as well. Thank you. So prayers will be taking place next door and food will be served here.